Namaste, and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology Debunking Mythology. So, this show is in English for the English speaking audience in the West and other countries. Why India and US relations are going down, and it's very challenging actually nowadays. So, if you know the history of USA, how it was created in 1776, Articles of Independence. Articles of Independence were created by the settlers in USA against the King of England. That is a fact. In that Articles of Independence, the Indians or the Native Americans or natives of Turtle Island were referred to as Indian savages. Now, this is the Articles of Independence of USA. And this is how this country was founded. Now, why they were referred to as Indians is another story. Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer on European monarchs and the Catholic Church's support, came out in the search of new passage to India, because the Middle East was difficult for them to traverse to go to India. They would lose their life and it was impossible. So they wanted to search a new sea route. It is European discovery period. Before that, the data has now come out. Even the Greeks were trading with India through seaports. And Pericles ports has already described that. The Greek historian Pericles documented 26 ports in India which were trading with Greeks via sea route, via Africa, southern tip of Africa. And they were bringing in lots of goods from India. Trading was going on. And during that time, India controlled 54% of world trade. 54% of world trade. Okay? Because India was always a rich land, and today also it is a rich land. Now, 1770 is coming back to American history. Now, between 1492 to 1776, when the USA was founded, United States of America was founded with the first 13 colonies on the northeast. They were built on the money earned through Dutch East India Company, and an English East India Company was just about to go in. But money was largely coming to Europe through Dutch East India Company. And India was not yet completely controlled by the British. There were some traders there, and which were trying to trade, but not completely controlled. Dutch East India Company was also very small at that time. They were gaining permission from the Muslim rulers on eastern part of India. And Muslim rulers had no control over India. All their government subjects were Hindus, their ministers were Hindus, their complete dependence on money from Hindus was what? It was not representing India. India has always been a Hindu country. So, US was built on that money from 1776 onwards. You don't need to know this history because this is never taught in American textbooks. American textbooks talk about India as poor, a country run by Hindus is not very good people, black, dark, that's what they talk about. Brahmanism, the caste system. The caste is a European word, there's no connection with India, by the way. So all this negative propaganda by the British created American textbooks. And anyone who studies in the American schools learns the same propaganda. The researchers are faulty, and the information is faulty, and that's why today Americans get really bamboozled by India. Bamboozled by India. Because they don't know what to do. They were knowing completely wrong information. And now when the Indian leadership comes and challenges America and proves Americans are not so intelligent, then they're shocked. Oh, how can he talk to us like that? This is a foreign policy paralysis regarding India in USA. What they don't teach in American textbooks, India has been always the unconquered region of the world. Muslims tried their best but not control the whole of India. That's why in 1707, Aurangzeb was killed by the Hindu kings, such as Shivaji Maharaj. There were no Muslims who were allowed to rule peacefully. British were not allowed to rule peacefully. British asses were kicked so many times that you can't even count. Shameful. It was a general consensus in India that the British cannot fight. When the British created the Indian Army, British Indian Army, in 1914 for World War One, they needed troops. They recruited in large numbers to defend India. To defend India. That's why the Indian troops joined them to defend India. Not because of British, to defend British. No. They didn't even know British plans of using a Union Jack. They didn't even know that. They didn't care about the flag. The Battle of Saragadi, the Sikh soldiers fought to protect Sanatan Dharma, not for the British flag. They protected British troops out of their human nature. Because if you're under the protection of Indian troops, they will give their life first. That's Indian culture, Hindu culture, Sanatan Dharma culture. Not because of British flag. Nobody understands British flag. A cross between a St. John's cross and this cross and that cross, and it's a really jack of all trades. Nobody understands that flag. At least I won't understand that. Looks like a hodgepodge of flags. Indian soldiers fought for their motherland. World War II. Indians fought for their motherland to kick out the British. Then Subhash Chandra Bose came. He united the retired and ex-soldiers from British Army, no, Indian Army under British flag, which I told you nobody recognizes the Union Jack. Union Jack of all trades, nobody knows. What is it? It's literally a jack. If you want to know the meaning of jack, search the dictionary and look at the connotations. The joker and the jack share a lot of similarities. Now, in 1940s, that was the condition of Subhash Chandra Bose. You will give us independence. British had already recruited Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, to carry out their tasks of keeping India colonized as a suzerainty or as a dominion. Why would Hindus accept any dominion of Jack? Not necessary. And Mahatma Gandhi negotiated division of India, and for his own foolishness, the champion of non-violence. I mean, there is no history in the world where British have left without violence. Why will Indians will be leader of somebody, will be accepting a leader which is non-violent? It's not in the Hindu culture. Hindu culture is by default non-violent because Hindu culture appreciates war. The entire Hindu country is a land of brave people because in our scriptures, sacred scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned that you never show battle on the back on the battlefield. Yudhe Chapalayanam, Shaurya Tej Dhriti Daksha, Yudhe Chapalayanam, Danam Ishvara Bhavascha, Chhatra Karma Svabhavam. That's the essence of Hindu culture. A country of warriors. British were so, the Jack was so unrealistic that they started dividing Hindu community. Sikh, who were always part of the Hindu family, always part of Sanatan Dharma culture, they called them martial race. The whole India is a martial race. There is a Maratha, there is a Madras, there is a Kalinga, there is Magad, there is a Tripura, there is Aham, there are Bengalis. They are all martial races. Rajasthanis, Uttar Pradesh, from Dogra. Dogra to, British should never forget, Americans should never forget 1741 defeat by Marthanda Varma, the king of Travancore, on the combined naval might of Spanish and other European forces. That's why India is always been an unconquered country. That's why it is non-aligned, because that's the official policy. It's a big enough population, entire North America, South America, Europe combined, bigger than that. No shortage of manpower, no shortage of martial traditions, no shortage of wealth, no shortage of military acumen. But the American State Department and American state policymakers don't appreciate it. Don't appreciate the pride. India is the inventor of chess. You can't play games with India. Strategic games you cannot play. Not possible. Impossible. Impossible is the word does exist in the dictionary. I'll tell you. It does exist in the dictionary when it comes to India. We will do the impossible and we'll do the possible too. Both are important. It is impossible for Union Jack or any other colony of theirs to subdue India. You can only be friends with India. That's the only option you got. India, on the international stage, has supported Global South. All the native indigenous communities are supported by India by default. Because India, when it talks about peace, it means peace from strength. Try it. Indira Gandhi in 80s told Nixon that you could not fight with Vietnam. How can you fight with India? That's why Nixon sent the 7th Fleet to India in 13 days. India completed the job of making Bangladesh independent in 12 and a half days. You can't match it. Just cannot match it. It's a wrong education in the American textbooks, which makes Americans look not so intelligent in the international space. Rambling of courage on TV shows, it doesn't cut it. Fake news doesn't cut it. Superiority complex of we are the bravest people doesn't cut it. Ask the British again and again. They know, they'll tell you. One British Prime Minister was asked, the last probably, the Governor General of India was asked, what was Mahatma Gandhi's contribution to independence of India? He said negligible. It was the naval revolt, Indian naval revolt of the British, Jack. That's what happened. I can understand that the American textbooks don't want to talk about the bravery of other people. They only want to talk about bravery of their people. But where is the bravery? Let me ask you this question openly. Where is the bravery? Vietnam War was bravery. Afghanistan was bravery. Or any of the wars. The Congressman MJT, Marjorie Taylor Greene, has also said it. When was the time after World War II that American troops showed bravery? Bombing from the skies. And so many incidents happened. So many millions of innocents died. What happened to that? All the games. Monroe Doctrine was passed, was against the colonial powers when America was trying to protect itself from European takeover again. People should not forget that. That time Monroe Doctrine was invoked to protect the south of USA. It cannot be misused. All the bravado, fake bravado in targeting India by all the agencies, all the media, is not going to help. President Trump saw it recently. Again, the American people don't even know what's happening in Bangladesh. Why American troops are there? Why do you need an island over there? Why? They're leaving Diego Garcia. Why would they need another island close to the Indian soil? Why? All these games are not going to help. They don't cut it. People are observing it. If America has to go stronger, they have to go strong on the basis of Native American culture. That's the only culture which India will recognize. That's original culture. Just because they are not in the history books, or they've been presumed to be dead, over, by most of the Americans who study in the schools, because those guys are hiding, because the American state is still searching for them, still targeting them. Bureau of Indian Affairs, we all know what happens there. Ministry of Interior. So there is a lot needs to be changed. If you target India, America is going to go poorer and poorer and poorer. Believe me. No country has survived fighting with India. Nobody, including Pakistan. Pakistan was created as an intelligence operation for strategic needs at that time. They colluded, the British colluded with the Indian leaders, fake leaders that they created, Mahatma Gandhi, to create this country as a permanent enemy on the western side of India. Do you think that helped USA? No, because the amount of money you put in that artificial state is going to just backfire. It did backfire now, and it's always going to backfire in future. And that country also won't exist also. That's Indian resolve now. It's a Hindu resolve, not just Indian resolve. What India has given to America? A lot. America was built with the Indian money looted by the British. Anglo-Saxons were migrated here with a loot from India. Almost $45 trillion were looted by the British, or more. And yoga. Half the Americans practice yoga. I'm talking the Anglo-Saxon world. Meditation, vegetarianism. This is the contribution, Ayurveda, to Anglo-Saxons. India has always given good things. But what has Americans have given to India? Nothing. Nothing. Salaries for the work they did is the money they earned. Aid to do regime changing operations in India, that's not help. That's selfishness. What else have they given? Technology. India bought it. India paid money for it. Nobody gave. In fact, the latest engines by the GE, India is upset. Lip service doesn't work with Indians. Modi ji calling, Trump calling Modi a friend, doesn't work with Indians. It gets exposed. In fact, it's considered bad in India. What have Americans given? I don't see anything. Friendship for selling things. It's not friendship like Russia. What else Americans have given? And I believe me, Russians also don't give free anything. They also play their own games. But still they are at least trustworthy and consistent. Every 4 years the American administration changes and everything new comes in. Are you talking about a banana republic? No continuation, nothing? I mean, every 4 years or 8 years, people have to deal with a new America? I mean, that's not countries, the way countries are run. If any policymaker in the State Department asks this question to themselves, are they honest? Just say, am I honest? That will cut it. This is the time for introspection for this country. You don't make enmity with India or countries which are consistent in the world. You don't disrespect other leaders. Not good. Is going to backfire. Big way. I mean, I can see the policy is now protecting the homeland. Why? After 1776, again situation has come where settlers ran from churches in US, in Europe, to establish churches here. Same thing, same logic you use for Islamic people, running away from Islamic rule to set up Islamic rule here. Same example, nothing changed. What change is needed? And as a friend, I'm saying, what change is needed? It's time to adopt real things in life, real mindset, consistency, friendship, real good heart, good intentions, not deals, deals, deals. Let us make a new deal. Today the deal should be, I will be honest with the world and real with the world. I'll be truthful. That's a deal. That's we can talk about. Rest of the other things are byproducts, believe me. In business, one thing works, trust. In international diplomacy, trust works. That's the only thing which works. And nobody trusts today this country or the leadership. How will businesses succeed? I mean, the point is going to come, if you're an American company, I don't want to do business with you. That's going to come. It's tough time, it's a wake-up call. It's time to change our course of action. If I was not a well-wisher, I would not have said this video. It's time to introspect, change. Jai Shri Krishna. Namaste.